gon' talk about it, yeah, we get it poppin'. Every Wednesday, PM Central, we are the only options. Who they touch with their topics, even if it is toxic. Like we like the podcast, we gon' be in, let's talk about it. We gon' talk about it. We gon' talk about it. Like we like the podcast, we gon' be in. Like we like the podcast, we gon' be in.
Yo, welcome back to another edition of the Life Be Life and podcast. Back up on the scene, I mean. I'm your host, Tony D.
And I'm your host, D to the J, back in the building like I ain't never left. And it feels oh so good.
Yeah.
Hey, talk about that banger of that theme song. I want to talk about it. What was that about, man? What was talk to us?
You know, that's what we're working with right now, man. New theme song. We got a little tweaking to do, but you know, we're just letting y'all know what we coming with, man. Our own style, our own song, our own theme song, man. So, hey, it's only up from here.
That's
Crack
it.
with you on this Wednesday, man.
Hey, man. It's a beautiful day, man. I feel good. It ain't oven hot outside anymore. That's a beautiful thing, man. It was about 3 kids, man, ran across the street. Like, what was that? Day before yesterday, it was 100 degrees. Shirt caught smooth on fire, man. And
man, it's all bad.
Yeah, fire trucks, everything was out there, man. But
Ambulance.
Yeah, man, it's just like some little baby Freddy Kruegers. But
Baby Krueger.
man, it's a beautiful day, man. God is good. I can't complain about anything.
Hey, you got that right, man.
Man, it's just a lot going on. But you know what I'm saying? Everybody holding it down, man. So talk to the lifers, man. What is new in Tony D's world, man? And then we're gonna get things popping.
Hey, check it out. In case you can't get on StreamYard, you may or may not be able to see this right now. We are also live on YouTube right now as we speak. So in order to get into the YouTube, you got to be following the channel. And our YouTube station is Life Be Lifin' Podcast 314. So go ahead and give us a follow, give us a stream, you know what I'm saying? Give us some shout outs, let us know what's cracking. On our Facebook page, we're live. I believe we're live on the Instagram page too, but I'll just, check that during the commercial break. So,
Absolutely.
Man, we got a hell of a show for y'all this evening. So, bro, go ahead and hit
Before we even get started, I'm gonna try to remember this time. Hit that disclosure. Let's get that out the way, and then we're gonna talk about what we got to talk about.
Bet that. Let me do this before we get this disclosure out the way, man.
All right.
Hey, a huge shout out to Roy Jackson, man. Forgot to mention him the first live episode. Roy coming with the merch, you know what I'm saying? New ideas, he's getting at us. So if you're on Facebook, man, hit him up, Roy Jackson, Roy King Jackson, or inbox us. We'll connect you to him. August, gotta give a birthday shout out to my cuz, man. You know who he is, my cuz Nick. I'm gonna leave his governmentals alone tonight. I'm gonna let him leave.
Yeah.
Birthday is Saturday, man. So happy early birthday, cuz, man. Hey, you gotta celebrate him while you got him. You heard me.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get this out the way, man, so we can get into the get at.
The views and opinions expressed on the Life Be Life and podcast are solely those of the artists, producers, guests, and hosts of the show. Any numbers, stats, or stated resources that are given, we do ask that you verify that information for yourself. The views and opinions expressed on the Life Be Life and podcast are solely those of the artists, producers, guests, and hosts of the show. Any numbers, stats, or stated resources that are given, we do ask that you verify that information for yourself.
So we said it twice, y'all. So what we're saying is that, ain't no telling what we gonna talk about on here, but we try our best to bring you good information. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be opinionated, when we are elaborating on topics, but when we giving you the foundation, best believe, somebody, most of the time is him, then did their homework. You feel me?
True that. So that being the case, look, tonight's topic: is there an age limit on having kids? When is it too late? Or is it even too late? So we want to kind of get into the tidbits of the situation. We know that there's a lot of times you have older women that are having kids in their later years in life. Sometimes maybe a sugar daddy done got caught up. You know, the hey, it happens. Or just honestly, couples planning and it was just God's time. There's a lot of situations that can kind of get us to that point. Okay, so I want to jump in and talk about that. But look, check this out. I wanted to first kind of figure out how common this thing was, right? Um, I know people that are older parents growing up. I had a childhood friend, and she was like 20 years older than our parents. It was like, you could tell there was a difference. How common is it? So this is as of 2021. Is actually becoming more common via the Pew Research Center. A lot of people are being called a part of the sandwich generation. Never heard of this. I thought it was a joke at
I
first. I
like
ain't.
sandwiches.
You heard me. So when I heard that, I said, "Snap! I'm
Yeah,
a
yeah,
part of the
yeah.
sandwich generation.
We in
I
there.
like, I like sandwiches. I'm part of the sandwich generation."
Yeah.
Nah, that wasn't it. Um, Ideally, the sandwich generation is people with a parent that is 65 or older that are raising or financially caring for a child 18 years or younger, and said that these people are usually in their 40s, 30s, or 40s. But um, that sandwich generation is becoming a little bit more common. We talking about how things is coming about, bro. The oldest person as of September 2019 that dropped a doubler on him. Young lady named Mangayama
Mm.
Yeramati, 74-year-old tenderoni from southern India, gave birth to twins via IVF. She dropped a deucer on them, bro. 74-year-old tenderoni. Still turn, bro. Still turn. 74.
I don't have no words because number one, I don't even want to throw no disrespect because hey, she's still doing it at 74. Hey, more power to you. How old
Yeah.
was the baby daddy? That's what I want to know.
See, they didn't say that.
Oh no,
And
we
that and
gotta
that
do some more digging.
yeah, oh yeah, you already know. It's gonna come about. But even from the standpoint of we'll get into the was this a situation that was for some type of personal gain? Was 74 years old, was she taken advantage of? See, there was a lot of things that circled around it that I'm still looking to get the more just dues other than just the what happened. How did it happen is what I want to know.
Yeah,
What was her mental state? Not trying to be funny, all jokes aside, was this a situation she was taken advantage of? Or there's a lot of things, but all they just said was as of 2019, she was the oldest person to give birth to a set of at least two babies or more. Um, but like I said, it was via IVF. So IVF, for those who don't know, in vitro fertilization. Um, some people feel one way, some people feel another. Bro, I want to get your take on what you're thinking about IVF. Um, because as some people say, well, it's if God wanted you to be pregnant, you would get pregnant. But the other side of that coin is who's to say that this isn't the method that he may use for them to get pregnant?
yeah.
So it's a lot of different directions. IVF. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I really don't have a thought about it, man. Just because I can say I haven't been in that position to need to explore. I've seen TV shows and things like that to where a couple has a real desire for kids of their own. They don't want to adopt. And who are we, you know what I'm saying, to try to rob those individuals of what their life goals are. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because I know as we have life goals and somebody try to rain on our parade, you know what I'm saying? Hater, so I'm
Yeah.
looking at it the same way. I mean, long as they ain't trying to come get one of my wife's eggs and in vitro fertilize somebody else, hey, uh, salute.
True. Um, I always take the stance, man, like it really doesn't have anything to do with me. So that's somebody else's household. She could get pregnant with 7 kids at once. I ain't gotta take care of them one of them. They ain't mine.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
can
yeah.
you can pop them things out over there like M&Ms. It don't rattle me. Um, but the flip side of this thing, the seriousness of it was the health risk, right?
Yeah.
And so while I'm kind of torn from the sense of I feel like whatever's meant to be is going to be. If you're meant to be a parent, if you're meant to be a doctor, if you're meant to be, if as long as you're doing the work, the doors is gonna open. Like that's what's meant for you, right? So
I ain't gonna say that. I'm just gonna
I know.
laugh. I'm gonna keep my
I
composure.
got you. Okay. So it's one of those things, man, to where if it's meant to be, do
Who
we
are we?
need this?
Yeah,
Do we need this medication, or can the medication be something else? So the health risk of it, man. The health risk come down to one for both the baby as well as the mom.
yeah.
Different points in time, but there are risks. Ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome, or better known as OHSS. And ideally, it's from the medication. It's going to overstimulate the ovaries,
Mm.
um, and it leaks fluid into the chest cavity or the abdominal cavity.
Oh
Um,
wow.
and then there, of course, you have the different emotional changes, and not just the typical hormonal, but there's a significant emotional change. The increased risk of multiple babies, having twins, triplets, that increases, which of course that changes and adds even more.
Right.
Blood clots, infections, abdominal bleeding, twisting of ovary or fallopian tube. There was just a lot. So the health risk, does it outweigh, if you truly believe that this is the way that you are set to be a parent, would you be willing to risk the potential of losing your life or jeopardizing health to obtain that goal?
I'm gonna say it like this. I know we did the show a couple of shows ago, man. BBL y'all are hell no. So
Hmm.
I kind of relate this to this because as we stated on that show that women are risking their life for breast and butt implants and thigh transplants or whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
And I
KFC.
yeah. So I look at it as if this is a wish of yours and it's not a selfish wish, this is coming from a wholesome place, like, yo,
Hmm.
I don't have kids, or I wanted another child, uh, I desire another child. And if you're willing to put your body, your mind, your life through those types of scenarios, then more power to you. I just really wish and hope that a lot of the doctors that are performing these procedures are really, really, really not saying trying to talk them out of it, but
Talk
it's
them
just
through it.
yeah, talk them through it
Talk
like,
them
yo,
through it.
this is what's gonna happen. You
Yeah.
go feel some discomfort here. Some of your vitals may change, So this
Yeah.
because even if you're pregnant at that age, and I understand, and she's carrying this child at the age of 74, we already know that young women, the child pulls iron and other things from the mother's body. So at this age of 74, and I'm assuming, so y'all don't start throwing stones, but that's around the age like osteoporosis starts setting in. Other older symptoms,
Calcium based.
yeah, calcium
Yeah.
deficient.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, is it possible that if I'm delivering, can I break a pelvis? Can I break a hip? Like these are things that I really hope that doctors should see. There you go, because you gonna say the pelvis has already been broke. See, there you go. I got you. Anyway, so I'm just I'm just hoping, man, that the doctors are really talking these ladies through these things and they're not going into this situation blind. See,
And composure.
all right,
So
all right, new
you
face.
you said all you go back a little bit. You talked about a selfish risk.
Yeah,
So you said as long as it's not a selfish risk, and that's kind of like it's a yes and a no when you say that because say like this for her to say or for her or him, mom or dad to say it wasn't about me, and you go and do that risk. Well, then who is it? The baby? There's nobody else here that it could be for. So even if you say it's not really a selfish risk, it has to be selfish because you're doing it to benefit yourself. I never
what
got to be a parent.
what
Um,
what if it's a mate that's saying, hey, I understand that my sperm count may be low, or maybe you got a issue going on with your body, but to carry on our name, or my last name, we need to have a child. We need to have an heir. So is it
man,
really
please.
selfish? Because
Man, listen,
no,
I
no,
ain't
no, go
having no more. You get to a certain age, you should start saying, I'm not having no more kids. If you
well,
want your name to be drawn out and carried out, you better get a pen and paper because that's the only way it's
but
getting drawn.
what you got to look at though. Okay, let's just say they were high school sweethearts. You know what I'm saying? She lived her life. He lived his life. They were in their maybe 60s when they crossed paths again. They're both,
Mm-hmm.
neither got married, um, recently divorced, and still never had any kids for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And because I understand that, and we've seen it in the banking industry that when somebody passes, man, all hell breaks loose over their finances, especially in their property.
Yeah.
So if I have a nest egg or if I have something set up, I may want to leave. I want to leave it to someone that's my own blood. People can say adopt, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like, and this is not really my blood because this person can find their real parents and jet with everything that we left for them. So, eh, tomato, tomato. You know what I'm saying? Whatever your choice is,
Yeah.
uh, we just want to say do it
Just be
informed.
yeah, just be safe about it. Um, and ideally, like we always say, whatever decision you make, just be okay with whatever the outcome can be.
Yeah,
Um, if that's the decision that somebody's making, of course, everybody's always going to be prayerful that the outcome is a success and health on baby and mom.
yeah,
Um, but the reality is, if it's not, as long as all parties involved say they good, like I said, hey, I'm not, I ain't taking care of nobody, so it don't
yeah. I
affect
mean,
me.
because and I'm just still kind of stuck on the pregnancy phase because
Hmm.
pregnancy does so much, to the body.
Yeah.
And so now the next step that I'm looking at is when that baby is born, how does that baby get that nutrients? Because breastfeeding is supposed to be the route to pass on the nutrients, to pass on the enzymes, to pass on the antibodies. You know what I'm saying? So hold it. So if the child is getting Similac and not getting those nutrients and stuff that it needs, what type of risk does this pose for the child?
That's so sad when you think about it.
This dude can't be serious around you, man. I'm asking a
Mm.
serious question here.
This is so sad if you think about it, baby.
Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back, man. We'll be back.
Hi guys, I like all the shows. They all tie into each other, and as crazy as y'all are together, the information that you all put out is very informative for every age level. So I just appreciate you guys with the topics. All of them my favorite to me. To y'all my favorite. So that makes me my friend.
Yeah, I had to hold my head high. I had to let go my pride. I had some worries and some fears, but then I left it to God. Cause honestly, I feel it coming and I know it's my time. The ones that got all this, the ones that ain't got a pot. Imagine throwing a fit when you can be out that spot. You boys still touching on that stove when mama said it was hot. I had a dream, I woke up as king. I'm about to go take me a march. Get ready, get set on your mark. Let's go, I'm taking a start. And all of my dreams got down on my knees. I had to go pray to the Lord. Protect me cause I'm one on one. They hate that I'm not one of them. I had a dream, I woke up as king. I'm about to go take me a march. Get ready, get set on your mark. Let's go, I'm taking a start. And all of my dreams got down on my knees. I had to go pray to the Lord. Protect me cause I'm one on one. They hate that I'm not one of them. Mama, why they keep doubting me? Yeah, why they won't say they proud of me? Put blood, sweat, tears, my time to see. I'm on where all that honesty. Been feeling like Schmurd. Boys to the trenches, man, lady trying to get back to poverty. Gotta lift up the kids and send them to school. The trenches can't keep raising prodigy. That's what the knowledge be. Coming together, we gotta do good for the kids. Losing our nieces and nephews to nieces and nephews. Ernie Hurd trying to make it us men. Put down the guns and pick up some gloves and knuckle up, wobble like men. Tired of the fake thugs and fake drugs, only doing it for a trend. I had a dream, I woke up as king. I'm about to go take me a march. Get ready, get set on your mark. Let's go, I'm taking a start. And all of my dreams got down on my knees. I had to go pray to the Lord. Protect me cause I'm one on one. They hate that I'm not one of them. I had a dream, I woke up as king. I'm about to go take me a march. Get ready, get set on your mark. Let's go, I'm taking a start. And all of my dreams got down on my knees. I had to go pray to the Lord. Protect me cause I'm one on one. They hate that I'm not one of them.
Yo, and we back up in this joint. Hey, huge shout out to K the Kid, man. We've been sitting on this song since Blog Talk started messing with it. So we didn't have this song since like March. But you know, it is what it is. Hey, K, if you're listening, man, we got to get you on the show. K got new music dropping. Reach out to her page, man. Her name is spelled Kaay. Actually, let me pull it up for y'all real quick just to make sure I'm giving you the right source. While I'm doing this, make sure that you get our email, man. We're taking comments, topics, music, things of that nature. But just to show y'all we are organic in this joint, you know. So K the Kid is Kaayy space DAKIDD. So right now she's in a contest that's asking for votes to move her on to the next level. So if you like the track, man, you know, hook her up. And she homegrown. She from right here in the Lou. So make sure you look her up, y'all. So back to what bro was talking about, man. Before the show got derailed earlier.
Yeah.
But I'm
Hey.
but I'm serious about it, bro. Like, you know, what type of what happens to the child, you know what I'm saying, to if they don't get the proper nutrients and antibodies and things of that nature, do they grow up to be always sickly? Do they have lupus or some other, you know what I'm saying, deformity? I
They
really
actually
think
do. And we're gonna talk about that a little. We're gonna talk about that a little later. I like that in you. I like what I like. Yeah. But understand, bro, that there's more than mice sometimes to get caught in traps. So
okay.
put a little spin, go a little different direction with this thing, man. A scenario where there could be, let's start and say, an older father. Could it possibly be a situation to where the young lady seen, you know what I'm saying, CT or Uncle Willie Earl, and she said, "Look, I'm finna get this Social Security check for ever and ever." Was it a trap? Do you believe that those things are still happening? You know what I'm saying? Opportunistic, old school, with all them keys on his belt buckle.
Yeah, of course. In this day and age, I know for a fact that it's happening. You know what I'm saying? Just because people want the easy way out. They
Yeah.
don't want to do what's needed or what's expected of them. They don't want to pull their own weight. So whatever the latest trend, the latest fad is, guess what? They trying to hop on it just so, to make their life, quote unquote, a little bit easier.
Mm,
Free dollar is a free dollar. I mean, that's how some people look at it, but nothing is free.
yeah.
Nothing. So
And it's just like, so with that, who's really paying the cost? Um, and you almost alluded it, and I don't want to assume, but it was just like, if that's happening, the young lady needs to look at herself and really find her value and her worth. And even in that, I was just like, dang. But we could say the same thing about old buddy, because while she's taking the easy way out from what you said, and
he took the hard way in.
it, hey, so don't know if it's a situation to where she just getting paid, you know what I'm saying, or she was looking for that meal ticket. But on the same token, homeboy had to change his whole MO, because you
Yeah.
literally are going after somebody who can't hold you to certain standards. They don't know them standards yet. They haven't
Yeah.
lived certain things yet. So it's almost did you dumb down what you were on so you could have like control? So there's so many ways to where one side of the coin, I was just like, who really got used and what's the ultimate cost? Who
Yeah.
suffers? Both people, no person, her, him. So
I think everybody suffers in a type of situation because and it all depends on the dynamic too. So let me say that
mhm,
because as we're kind of assuming is that, you know, she had a baby by him, he went on to live his life, she's living her life with the child or whatever the case may be. What if they made it work together? You know, are they a couple? Are they an item? Are they going to raise this child together?
mhm,
But I still feel like that to a degree that as that child ages, there's still going to be certain things that child is going to be either deprived from or
mhm,
just will never experience in their life. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the capabilities of the people in their life. Because when you got a person here and you got a person down here that's on two different wavelengths, the only thing in common that they had, was
mhm,
that was the only common thing. Then it's kind of like, okay, how do we raise? Is it going to be torn? Is not it? My apologies. Is the child going to be torn between two different homes? Is the child going to be able to
yeah, the
play?
70s and the 2024.
Yeah,
How the heck gonna be torn? Because who becomes the leader in that situation? You know what I mean? Will the child be extremely hip and slick by catering to the mom? Because the mom is the nurturer. We talked about, the suppleness, uh, the natural feeding. So
cycle.
exactly, the nature's love. So because that is going to be more prevalent in that situation, would the baby naturally be more hip, or lean more to old school, dominant in the back,
Yeah, it. I believe that it's going to
the Doogie
heavily
Brothers?
depend on the parent, whichever parent that is
But that's what I'm
heavily
saying.
influencing.
But they both in the home. Like going off your scenario. So as we've been here for 30 minutes, I don't want the direction to come off as if this is something negative. This is just
Yeah,
open dialogue. So with that
yeah,
being the
yeah.
case, like you said, and I'm gonna reiterate what you said. This is the positive side. So look, they did get together. They are together. They married. They living together. And you know what I mean. They wake up every morning singing Al Green and watching Disney Channel.
And
Um,
I'm sure.
absolutely. While eating a Happy Meal. So you can do all of that. Um, but who at that point does the child favor with temperament,
Yeah,
likes and dislikes, um, like let's say the woman that had the twins at 74, I'm pretty certain her palate and digestive system is totally different than, let's say, if the dad turns out to be somebody that was like 28, 29, and he on cheeseburgers and hot wings and
right.
you know what I'm saying, and her wings. He on that time, and she's on more softer foods, more easily digestible. How does what does the baby do?
I
It
mean,
go through it. But this is we
I mean,
being funny, man. But
but early on, the
this is
baby gonna be on
legit.
soft food too, so they gonna be two peas in a pod. You know what I'm
You say
saying?
what?
I think because early on, the baby gonna be on soft food too, so it's kind of
Yeah,
like a match made in heaven. It's just like,
yeah.
hey,
For the first
you
10
just give me your
months,
carrots.
hey, first 10.
Yeah. So, but I really feel like that as, as the child is in at home, that child will start to find its own way.
Hmm.
But it's for the simple fact, times move fast. I look at our kids now and where they are in their life versus where I was at that age. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And even kids that are, 2, 3, and 4, it's like these kids come ready with to know how to work a tablet. They know how to work a phone like fresh out the womb. And
Oh
it's like
yeah,
you can't
yeah.
walk or
They
talk.
yeah.
Mm,
Day one, bro.
yeah.
Dalen, like literally, we brought Dalen home from the hospital that very next day, and he was asking for the Wi-Fi.
Impossible.
Just trying to tell you. Look
So
me dead in my
hey pops.
eye.
So now as that child progresses and as you were saying, who values does it take on? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I it's a combustible situation, man, and it's going to take maturity on both
Hmm.
sides of the parent. Not whoever's the oldest, the most accomplished. They're going to have to work together for the greater good of this child. But I really feel, and now that I'm talking through this, I feel slightly different. Now that I'm hearing like the
Hmm.
stats and everything, because it's like, man, I know at my age, having kids, even now, my youngest son is my youngest child, my son, he is 15, get ready to be 16 next month. And he drive me up a wall. My patience is real thin because it's always something. I want to go. Can I? Can you? Do you have? I know you got it. I know this. I know
Right.
that. And it's
Yeah.
like, yo, you getting on my nerve. And I know that patience only gets shorter the older that you get. Because you like, hey, I gotta use my time wisely. Like, ain't finna be,
Hey,
ain't finna be
not gonna
playing.
be tongue wrestling with you, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so discipline, you know, is this a child that's gonna get away with everything with just a tongue lashing, or is somebody putting belts to booties?
Now I'll chime with that. So while my parents, they were about 8, no more than 10 years older than like my circle of friends, but nothing that was like far off.
Mhm.
But because mom had kids earlier in life, I'm number 5. She done, you done went through a set of twins. You know what I'm saying? The boy and the girl. They say by the time I came through, my mom was tired. I did not get the chastising that I should have gotten. And I ain't gonna lie, I knew that now. I did. I caught some beats. You understand me? But I think all things considered, you just be like, man, I'm not finna do this. I'm tired. I've been working working all
Yeah,
day. You've been
yeah.
on your feet, so I
I'm
would
ready to
definitely agree with you.
retire.
Yeah, that discipline. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
like I have
Gotta
to.
get dinner on. That discipline
Yeah,
is different, or either the discipline does not match the actions.
yeah,
Because sometimes, let's say that kid might do something that was, let's say, a level one, but because you're older, an older woman, older man, whatever the case, and
yeah,
I'm just gonna stick with our community. So let's say an older black man, black woman, because you came from a time to where trying to civil rights, just how people treat people. Your demeanor towards this child and what they do. Oh, you can't do that. Y'all come on over. So
yeah,
it's humorous, but it's reality because you're going to be speaking from a place of your childhood and that trauma in that day and age. That yes, in a lot of ways it's still applicable, but not if it's only level or grade one. So that parenting could either be not there at all
yeah.
or on a hundo. What you think? Agree, disagree? So I'm gonna say this, man, from a woman's perspective. Earlier you kind of highlighted as far as um
You like,
some of the risk and things that a woman goes
oh, there
through.
we go. Bet.
Yeah. Some of the things that a woman could possibly experience.
Hey,
And
bro,
yo,
let's do this. Let's pay a bill real quick. Um, I need to tidy up something real quick. I'm gonna pay a
yep,
bill, then we gonna slide right back. All right.
yep, let's do.
Bet.
Have you ever been in a situation and needed to be a little bit of emotional but just couldn't seem to tap in? Possibly needed to back your way out of a lie and show them that you're telling the truth by crying? Well, have no fears. Cry No More is here, made from real baby tears. The organic, all natural substance you'll take once a day, and it'll produce tears on the spot. It'll get those tear ducts flowing. May cause side effects including internal bleeding, diarrhea, hemorrhaging of the belly button, eyelash removal, hair removal, back fat removal, toes falling off, and also bad breath. Cry No More. Real organic tears. Never be stranded again.
Yeah, back up on the scene. We back in this joint, man. Just had to make some minor tweaks and adjustments, but there we go. So, bro, what I want you to do, man, recap a little bit of what you said because I seen a couple of things that happened and maybe that message didn't come across as clear as it should have.
Yeah. So just kind of backing up, just talking about the whole, the age and whether it's the younger parent, older parent, and how the discipline kind of comes off. Um, that a lot of times that older parent where we would assume that there's a lack of discipline. There's also
Mhm.
situations and scenarios where maybe that life event that they've experienced, now they're applying pressure that shouldn't even be there. The child has did something that's so minor, grade one, and you've
They going in.
escalated it to it's World War 30. You ready to go in because you going off of your childhood experiences,
Yeah.
the
And
civil
trauma.
rights movement. Yeah, the civil rights movement, you can't look in this direction. You don't talk back, type of days. And yes, there are a lot of times to where a lot of that still could be applicable to today.
Mhm.
Absolutely true. Um, but sometimes that discipline is not just lacking. Sometimes it is increased for no reason. So um
So
that's kind of where we were just before we hit a little snag.
yeah, bet appreciate that. So I'm gonna put myself on Front Street again. So when my great aunt, who I call to everybody else, my grandma, who is my mom, um,
Hmm.
I was 3 months old when she got custody of me. She was 60. The state would not let her have custody of me because they said she was too old. So I really want to put that out there. The state told her, "Hey, you this baby's 3 months old. Yeah, we are not going to let you have this child." Her daughter had to sign the papers too to say, "Hey, I'm gonna be here with him to raise him, to assist her on raising him." What I can say, man, growing up with an older parent that she gave me some foundations, that I still use to this day, cooking, cleaning,
Hmm.
learning how to cook from scratch. I feel like that those were very good qualities, but it was because of the person that she was.
Hmm.
And I really feel that that's very important, um, a very important piece in that in raising kids. Now, growing up, she didn't believe in all that fashion. She didn't believe, hey, you wear what you got. If you don't like it, too bad. You still going to school. I don't care
Yeah.
if the kids laughing at you. You're there for education, not to impress nobody. I feel like that gave me uh, a big foundation to grow up because it's like, okay, I'm going to make sure when I grow up and I have kids, now my kids don't have everything that they want, but I try to put them in positions so they can see, number one, everything in life ain't free, but because we doing all right, I may be able to go ahead and slide you this. So it also hindered because I found myself many times, being teased at school, being laughed at, uh, wearing the same clothes, you know what I'm saying? Goodwill, rustlers, things of that nature. And it was a little bit of both worlds, man. And I really feel like it is very important for parents if if you're older to have conversations with your kids for them to understand because just telling them because I said so or don't do this because I told you
Yeah,
not
true.
to, consequences. You really want to talk to them about consequences and you can put yourself, out there a little bit. A lot of times parents don't want their kids to know that they ever did anything wrong.
Hmm.
And when it comes to discipline, hey, I got switches, uh, fly swatters, extension cords, race
That boy
straps,
said pot cans
pans,
and hands.
pots, pans, and hands.
He was
So,
wild for that one. Yeah.
hey, man, straight up, I was getting the business, and I look at myself now as an adult, and I really
Mm.
appreciate some of the things. And then there are some things that I received that I tried not to pass on. Some trauma, um,
Hmm.
just some things I just try to, allow my kids to avoid. So I really think that in this modern world, you know what I'm saying? You got to prepare your kids to succeed. I ain't talking about giving them every pair of Jordans, every pair of, whatever the jeans are now, whatever hoodie. It
Mm.
ain't about all that because these kids nowadays, they've gravitated a little bit away from the name brands. So it's very important, to teach your kids those foundations no matter how old you are.
Mm.
And you also, if you get to a point to where you're not mobile and you can't get to certain things, you also want to talk to your kids and just, hey, mama, I got a track meet, and you
Yeah.
just not show up. Hey, I can't make it, but I'm gonna put somebody there as a proxy for me and continue to give
Yeah.
these kids the support that they need.
So I appreciate you like telling, or recapping because we did hear that in season one. If y'all didn't catch that, follow us and holler back because everything's archived, so y'all can catch that. But you talked about all the good and the foundational things um, that were put in you, and happy belated heavenly birthday! Shout out to heaven. Um, I wanna. I want to ask a serious question. In the midst of all those good things, the teachings, the this, the that, was there ever a period in time by you having this older parent to where you felt, I don't know, either embarrassed, you were teased about that? Like, can you, you know what I'm saying, talk about how the not so good moments, the benefits were there, obviously, of an older
Yeah.
parent. What were some of the negative things that you experienced?
Well, some of the negative things I felt like that I experienced. I grew up until about the age of 12 thinking that this was my biological mother.
Hmm.
So, they used to walk me to the bus stop, first, second, third grade, make sure I got on the bus. When I got off the bus, they would there to, walk home because we didn't have a vehicle. So
Hmm.
sometimes it may be my aunt Charlene, sometimes it was mama. And kids would be like, "Who is that?" "Oh, that's my mama." Old lady, I almost said it, but that old lady ain't your mama. So now, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm squaring up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, this is my mama, because to me, this is all that I know.
Yeah.
So finally, at the age of 12 and many suspensions and, other things, I got told the truth. And I really felt like, she told me then just because it was at an age that I can comprehend. Um, Another drawback that I felt was sports. Um, I ran track, I played football, and I was decent. And I just really feel like that at a track meet or a football game, if I had somebody in the stands that was actually watching me, I may have took a bigger, better interest. And who knows? Now,
Right.
don't let me come off as I regret where I am, because God has been so
True.
good and He has been so faithful. So let me put
Yeah.
that out there, man. I'm grateful and thankful for everything I have in my life.
Hmm.
But sometimes you sit back, especially when Warwick Dunn came in the league. He was only what, 5'7", 5'8". You know what I'm saying? When old boy who played for the Chargers first, and he came to Philly. Can't think his name at the moment, but he was 5'6". And there was a lot of there's a couple small players in the league now. Deuce Vaughn, he's like
Yeah.
5'5", 5'6". So
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
And then to be honest, one of the coldest running backs was only what, he played for the Packers. I think that was in '79, Gary Coleman. And he was only like 4'4".
boy, get out of here. And Darren Sproles is the name that I was looking for.
Yeah, I
Uh,
was with you. I couldn't
yeah,
think of it myself either.
yeah,
I just
look
knew the
him up,
name
bro.
sounded very familiar.
Yeah, so I'm just like, what's his name? Dark skinned Jermaine. See what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but all in all, I really felt like that it built character. Um, you say something about me a lot, and I realized you like, you know what, bro? You are always trying to find your place, whether it's in life, in a crowd, at work, because you've always had to fight to fit in.
Mhm.
And true enough, you know what I'm saying? And I do believe all kids watch The Price is Right, Heat of the Night, Days of Our Lives, General Hospital. You know what I'm saying? Because you had to be in the crib. Couldn't really go outside, but again,
That
I
was the
think
normal.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? You
That
should
was that was
I know
only the
everything, bro.
kids' stories that grew or stayed had, like, in the daytime, you over granny's house. See, that
Yeah,
wasn't me because I didn't
I
have
never go to the crib.
grandparents. Yeah,
Boys,
so yeah. The
hit
Heat of
hit
the
the right
Night, yeah, that was on, mama was recording that on VHS. And of course, Young and the Restless had every woman in the chokehold, so I can't fault her for that
chokehold,
either.
boy.
Uh
Cricket, Victor,
and she was real hip back in the day to Dallas. You know what I'm saying?
remember Dallas?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dallas. But yeah, man, that wasn't normal, bro. That wasn't
Hey, but
normal.
all I'm saying is though, is that based on when I was able to get out in the streets, the
Hmm.
way that I started wilding, 15, 16 on up, that in the house was the best place for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, there were some days I got put on punishment, couldn't go outside and play, but you learn about your favorite saying, actions and consequences. So, at the end of the day, it is what it is, because just because you're there as a child, it doesn't mean that you cannot make decisions as a preteen, as a teen, as a young adult, and as an adult to better yourself. So, in conjunction with this, I'm gonna give my soapbox since I'm right there on the topic.
Mm-hmm.
So, regardless on how you were raised, people say, "Oh, I was beaten, I was starved, I was raised in the box. My parents were this old. It was always chaotic." And I understand that some of those traits can filter over into your life, and you can carry on unknowingly some of those traits into your relationship and your mannerisms and your actions. But understand this, y'all. The majority of parents, regardless of their age, their economic background, they do the best that they can with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, some parents, because they have a child where they are, they get stuck where they are. So your parent was 27 when they had you, but now you're 20. So your parent is 47 still with a 27-year-old mindset. And some kids have to be the parents sometimes. But it's important to make good decisions once you recognize whether you 2, 22, 32, it doesn't matter. Recognize the path that you're on, because if you don't recognize the path you're on, the path is going to recognize you and pull you in. And that's bars and facts.
Yeah.
So get help, man. I know over the last 10 to 15 years, even if that long, I'm gonna say 5 years, us black people in our black community, we're just now starting to get counseling for ourselves to deal with past issues, past hate, past trauma. And it's okay to not be okay. But to be selfish about it, as we're talking about parents, you also have to realize where you are, your age, your mobility, what you have or you don't have before you bring another child in this world. And then now you're struggling to move around. You're paying someone to come help you take care of the child. So now I feel like you've moved a step back. But yo, that's my soapbox for the day. And I'm going to move a step back. And my bro finna step on in.
Yeah. You made me just think about something. So you mentioning, as far as the mobility, being able to take care of, being able to provide for those different types of things. And it made me look at the other side of that coin, because what you were alluding to is, okay, when somebody gets up in age, if the mom is up in age, how is she gonna be able to chase this crawling baby, or a dad? But what about just in life in general? Being a parent in general is what it kind of made me think about. There's a whole lot of kids, bro, that's having babies, even let's say at 35. He
Yeah.
35, she 37, they having babies, but the reality is they didn't self-examine it to see where they were in life, and they're
Mm.
not mobile, meaning they don't have a car, so they can't get around. So we talking about somebody that's older, mobility of their body. But what about these younger cats having babies and they mobile, period, right?
Mm.
um Being unable to take care of themselves, you know what I'm saying, because they're on a fixed income. So what happens on that? Sometimes that medicine can't get paid for, sometimes bills or food can't get paid for. Now let's look at this other side of the coin with these younger parents, because maybe they're not working, they're not doing what they need to do, they're dependent on social security stamps, these different types of things. And same way, they can't provide. So just hearing you say that just really made me think about it from a double-edged sword perspective. That comment we really need to apply to just parenting in general, making certain that we're
Indeed.
able. Two last things I want to kind of wrap up with, um as it centers around. Look, I want y'all to understand, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do what you feel is what's right. um Make sure that you examine and have all the means, but want to make sure you have all the information. There's a lot of benefits, a lot of beautiful things that we didn't get to discuss tonight when it pertains to children, the joys that they bring. I believe that in some situations, Older crowds may be having children later in life because it gives them a purpose. Maybe for some, it's some type of redemption or something they were
Yeah.
unable to do earlier in life. Um, Maybe for somebody else that now they might have lost all hope because they were married for, let's say, 30 years. Spouse dies. They had kids with the wife years and years ago, but that child died in the war. Let's say there is no more kids now. They got a new love, and they have a new reason that they feel like they're able to live. And so having a child now is almost like giving them new purpose. And so maybe for some, it even adds to years in their life. Okay. Some of the
Hmm.
risks though
Yeah.
that were totally different that we didn't get a chance to cover earlier. Um, for women, the gestational diabetes. Um, and this is sometimes at baby birth, sometimes this is developed later in life. And that was what was scary for me, and that's why I want to go over it. So the gestational diabetes, chromosome abnormality, miscarriage, C-section becomes really the topic of that day. And the only options typically stillbirth, low weight birth, preeclampsia, high blood pressure. So a lot of things that the woman could possibly experience that the baby that are going to deal with organs, internal, developmental, things of that sort, which was crazy. Um, this kind of I took heed to and thought, dang, based on what the studies are saying, I barely made it. By me having a 4 year old. And just a few years later, this number, and as a dad, I'm saying this because I don't think we realize it as men 37, 38, 41, 42 when it comes to babies. But this is per babycentury.com. Dads to be was the article, bro. And it circled around how your age can affect your fertility and your baby's health. It says that the father's age can increase the risk health issues for babies at birth, as well as later in life, like we said, for the women. Studies found babies born to men 45 and older. And I'm saying this because, again, you normally, somebody in their earlier 40s, a man having a baby, you don't even trip.
Right.
Studies found babies born to men 45 and older are more likely to have cleft lip, heart defects, low birth weight, seizures, genetic disorders, also found associated with mom's um, uh, gestational diabetes, leading to larger babies, as well as type 2 diabetes, childhood cancers, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, I'm sorry, and autism. And these are things that I think we just never consider again because of age. So my soapbox is ideally God is in complete control. And while some may say, hey, if it's really of God, you shouldn't have to take any type of supplements to increase that, such as the IVF. You got some people that will say it's selfish. You're doing the disservice to the child because you
Mhm.
can't. And you got some that'll disagree with all of that and say, absolutely live your life. If you and your mate feel that this is something you're able to do. Um, Even the scenario where the doctors or the judge, whoever told your mom, hey, you can't adopt him, you too old. And that don't sit right with me because of if that's a decision that I can speak freely in across the courtroom, then there should also have been a law in place that said you can't get pregnant up until this age. If there's no law
Yeah.
in place that tells me that I can't get somebody pregnant past this age, then how can you tell me I'm not old, that I'm too old to adopt at this age? So I don't really agree with that. But at the end of the day, life be life and podcast. I'm D to the J. Y'all gonna do whatever y'all want to do. If you want to get some cookies and the cookies has been in the jar longer than somebody else's cookies, they a little bit stale. Do what you do. Oatmeal, it don't matter. You gonna get you some old cookies. Don't matter.
Indeed. Yes, sir. But y'all, we appreciate y'all taking time out of y'all night to watch us lifing, and we're gonna be here to talk about it every Wednesday at 8 p.m. I'm your host, Tony D.
And I'm your host, D to the J, still in the building. Catch y'all next week. The topic is going to be a burner. So make sure y'all tap into that page. Follow us so y'all can see what we on. But it's coming. You know. And you got that new theme song? We got it.
Talk about it. Yeah. With your host, Tony D and D to the J. With your host, Tony D and D to the J.